All right, so the Gina Carano and Disney lawsuit has been settled. This is breaking news yesterday. And this is embarrassing for Disney. Disney fired her in a very public way, which is interesting because they allow actors like Pedro Pascal to get hyper-political all the time and alienate half of the country, but yet Gina had to go. All of that was going to blow up in their face. There was no way they were going to win this lawsuit, and they know that. They were forced to settle. Now, it is kind of disappointing because I would have really liked to have seen the discovery. We would have got to see the emails from Kathleen Kennedy about this, text messages, and I guarantee you there's some juicy shit there because the way Gina was fired, that had to have came from Kathy, 100%. And that would have been really embarrassing for them. Whatever was in that discovery was so embarrassing that Disney bent the knee publicly. And there's people losing their minds over that. We're going to go over that in a second. But just to fill you in case you didn't know, there's a settlement. So a large bag of money, I'm assuming, whatever she was going to get paid for Mandalorian and maybe even that TV show. Whatever it was called, something, Rangers of the New Republic. That's what it was called, I believe. They have job offers in here. So they're basically saying they're willing to work with her again. Now, whether or not that happens, we'll see. I think Mandalorian is done after the movie, so maybe she'll get that show back. I'm not sure. Nobody knows. But after the way all of that was handled, because don't forget they went to I think it was the Hollywood Reporter, put all that embarrassing shit out. She found out she was fired like everybody else through the social media. It was really embarrassing, I'm sure. And now all of that has been retracted. All of that has been retracted. And, of course, naturally, some shills are losing their mind. Here's John Roca. Didn't he say the other day that audiences are stupid? They're too stupid to understand the genius of Marvel and Warner's Superman. He was mad because Jurassic Park was making money and Superman and Fantastic Four are tanking. The funny thing about this is domestically, both movies aren't doing too bad. Superman, especially domestically, is doing pretty good. Fantastic Four, not as much, but Superman definitely is. I believe Superman has overtaken Jurassic World Rebirth, but he's basically saying, you're just stupid. Everyone's dumb because they like Jurassic World, which is probably mostly a kid audience. That movie is doing what it needs to do, which is selling dinosaur toys to kids. But you're an idiot. This is a real take from him. Some people don't want to hear this, but it might be time to stop putting all the blame on studios or creatives for underperforming movies. It might be time to start looking at the intelligence level of moviegoers. It's phenomenally stupid. If a phenomenally stupid film like Jurassic World Rebirth can crush films like Superman and Fantastic Four at the box office, then something might be wrong with all of us and not the studios or the creatives. Horrible take. He got dragged for it because it is a really, really stupid take. I haven't seen Jurassic World Rebirth, but I highly doubt this movie is leagues above Superman and the Fantastic Four. Both have a lot of equally dumb shit in them. And keep in mind, I enjoyed Superman. Fantastic Four was also okay, but both movies have dumb shit in them. They do. Neither of those movies are Shakespeare. Sorry. You're not going to see Superman monologuing and holding the skull and looking up into the sky. That's not going to happen in either of those movies. Both of them are just dumb popcorn movies. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But he has put out another dumb take. Very upset that Gina Carano won and Disney bent the knee, and they did bend the knee. They did bend the knee. Settling is bending the knee. Gina won. I wish we could have got Discovery, but she still won. And this is embarrassing for Disney. So, like a good shill, he says, whatever. This is Disney paying Gina Carano off to go away. Yeah, they bent the knee, but not because she was right. They just didn't want Trump to get a bug up his ass and sue them again. Why would Trump sue them over Gina Carano's lawsuit? That's stupid. Why would that happen? That would not happen. I don't even think he has talked about her at all. But sure, yeah, they did it because they didn't want Trump to sue them. That's stupid. This is not some huge victory for freedom of speech. Come on now. Kind of is. Kind of is. In some ways, this has redeemed her. And they're forced to retract the shit and call her a lovely person. Anyway, she'll go on to be the Riley Gaines of actresses now. Another MAGA-talking bobblehead engaging in victimhood. Big deal. Moving on. Then, of course, there's a Star Wars shill, Jacob. This guy loves false flagging channels, calling for false flagging. So does the other person that I'm going to highlight in a second. They were trying to deplatform, like Star Wars theory and stuff. If you remember, that was a whole big thing that was going on. They failed miserably at it, but they were trying to push hard to get a lot of the channels that criticize Star Wars deplatformed. He was one of them. There's still no way that Bozo ever actually returns to Star Wars in a big way. And the way that official statement reads, it feels like the settlement was just to get her to stop whining above all else. Either way, though, it's a horrible look and sets an awful precedent. I like this copium. We don't know if she's going back to Star Wars. We're not sure. But I hope she does. And I don't even care about Star Wars anymore because it's just been ran so hard into the ground. But I would love it and tune in if she did come back just because it would set a lot of these weirdos on fire and have them just completely shutting down. And it's funny that they're talking about whining. You guys whined for months because YouTube wouldn't deplatform Star Wars Theory and a couple of other channels. You literally did. Cried for months. You tried really hard to cancel channels. You failed at it. Nothing got done. You had to go protect it and hide and all kinds of shit. Even here, you're closing down who can reply because everyone came in and called you a coper, which is true. You are coping, and I think it's funny. And then, of course, Sawyerism, another hardcore Disney show, another cancel culture lover. She was one of the big pushers of cancel culture, trying to get, like I said, Star Wars Theory and a few other people deplatformed. I love that she put scientist in her bio. She got kicked out of her PhD program. So you're a failed scientist. You're not a scientist. Sorry. But, yeah, sure. Have that in there. I'm a scientist, too. 100%. Just because I say I am. I'd never forget that she begged to come back to Star Wars because every other career move she tried to make on her own miserably failed. Talentless hack. Shame on Disney. Kind of like how you miserably failed your pursuit of science. I'm just saying. She's still doing quite well, by the way. Every time she goes to a con, there's lines out the door. Nobody at cons even know who you are. And if they do know who you are, they see you as the cancel culture lady. And it's kind of hard to miss because of her size. She's very big. Anyway, lots of this copium going around. I think it's funny. Even Forbes got in on the copium. Old Paul Tassi, not happy, says there's no way to spin this. Disney appears to not exactly have proven its case in a recent lawsuit over a fired actress. Uh-oh. And at the end here, this was funny. A settlement for a lawsuit and the court of public opinion are two different things, however, and liberal audiences would be likely to react poorly to Disney working with the actress again. something that would be out of the control of either party. Who cares? All they do is whine. Look at the American Eagle thing is a great example because you see all of these septum ring, purple-haired liberals crying and melting down on social media. From what I hear, their stores are filled. Jeans are selling off the racks like hotcakes. They're making money big time because nobody gives a shit outside of some loud weirdos on social media. Companies are finally starting to figure that out, which is beautiful. And I really hope she does get to return to the Disney fold in some way, just so you guys melt down even harder. Anyway, so let me know. What do you guys think? Do you think this is a win? Do you think this is an L? Let me know your thoughts, because I see both takes, and I'm not talking about the weirdos. I'm talking about like people that agree with us and on our side. Some people wish it had gone to Discovery. I kind of wish it had gone to Discovery, but I also understand wanting to settle the lawsuit. And if at the end of the day she's getting job offers from Disney again, and we'll see if that happens, and a big bag of money and a retraction, then maybe that's a win. Because I guess it's more what she wanted than what we wanted, but I really wanted to see that Discovery. It must have been really bad. Anyway, subscribe, like, share the video, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.